What's up, guys? So if you're a busy dad like myself and you want to run your first 100-kilometer ultra or maybe a marathon, half marathon or a 10K, I'm going to break down the lessons I learned along the way in completing and training my first ever 100-kilometer race, my fueling strategy, and also the mindset that you need to complete such a race. This summer I completed Race to the Stones. Now I believe it was one of the hottest days of the year, so it was pretty savage, but nonetheless I was pretty proud that I completed it. Race to the Stones, if you don't know, is across the Ridgeway, which is one of my favorite places on earth. Now if you are looking to do this race specifically, it's a great race. You can either do 50K or you can do 100K but split across 2 days. Or you can do a 100-kilometer in one go, which is what I did. Here are the 5 lessons that made the biggest difference to me to help me with my performance and finish the race. Okay, so the first lesson is that consistency beats intensity when it comes to your training. So you don't need to be running crazy distances every single week. Sure, if you're doing a 100-kilometer race, you are going to have to get some bigger sessions under your belt before the day. And for me, that was just a handful of dates I put in to do longer sessions. Otherwise, I just made sure that I was getting time on feet consistently every single week, which for me looked like doing 2 to 3 runs every week. And some of those runs were under an hour, some of those runs were over an hour. But I did base what I had time to do because I'm a busy dad. Now, the furthest that I ran leading up to the 100-kilometer race was 50 kilometers, and that seemed to be enough for me to be able to complete the race on race day. All right, so lesson number 2 is that fueling and hydration really matter on race day, because I've done races where I've not fueled or hydrated properly, and I've done that same race where I have, and it has made a world of difference. And the way that I feel and the way that I compete and the time that I get is completely different. So I highly recommend, especially if you're doing a really long race, that personally, I don't think I would have got through Race to the Stones if I hadn't done that properly. Now, for me personally, which I think these are great, I used a Steiker bar, which is a rice bar, 50 grams of carbohydrates per bar. And I also had these Precision Chew gels. Now what I did was I had one of these and one of these alternating every 30 minutes. Now if you're doing a longer race, you're probably going to forget what you've had when. So my strategy was to have half a bar every 10 past the hour, and then one of these every 20 to the hour. So of course, you just got to make sure before race day, you cut these bars up and put them into bags. They're easy to grab. Now, I also had salty foods with me, not for energy or anything like that. It was just so that I didn't get palate fatigue with the sweet stuff. With my hydration, I used these, which was some Steiker electrolytes. And I made sure that was in my water on my back, in my camelback. And then I also had 2 bottles of plain water, because you are going to get sick of the taste of just processed sticky stuff. So you want to make sure that you just have plain water as well. And with my water and my nutrition, I just got my support team, i.e. my wife and my sister, to fill me up every time I saw them every couple of hours. Ultimately, you've just got to do what works for you. So I would experiment in your training and see what brands that you like and what works for you in your body. But ultimately, you just want to make sure that you are hydrating properly using things like sodium and electrolytes. And also you're getting on enough carbohydrates per hour to make sure that you don't deplete your energy stores. Very quickly, if you're enjoying the tips in this video, please give it a thumbs up because it gives me feedback to continue giving you strategies just like this. Lesson 3 for me that I learned the hard way, which is you can't berate yourself and be hard on yourself and judge yourself on your performance or how you're thinking or what you're doing during the race. You've got to be your best friend. You've got to talk and coach yourself like you would with your kid or your best mate. You've got to encourage yourself, and you've got to find ways to manage the discomfort. Now, when I did it, it was a really hot day, which meant the dropout rate was really high. Why? Well, I assume a lot of people just simply gave up because they didn't have the mental skills or frameworks to keep themselves going when it got really tough and uncomfortable. So for me, I mean, at mile 70, or kilometer, I really wanted to give up. I was this close to giving up. But what I did was just encourage myself, saying, no, you can do this. It's fine that it's hard. There's no judgment. It's fine that you're struggling with this, and it's fine that you're wanting to quit, but can you get to that next tree? Or can you put one foot in front of the other? And also using things like little morale boosts, like when I get to that bench, I'm gonna have just a certain snack or something that you look forward to. And you've just got to find little ways to manage and support and through self-compassion. That is the only way you're gonna do it, because if you judge and you're gonna berate yourself, you're only going to burn out. It's only gonna get you so far. Now, lesson number 4 is something that I learned during my training. And this is, you've got to have a strong why as to why you're doing it, because some days you will want to give up in your training as well as on race day. And the question that you often ask yourself just before you give up is, why am I doing this? Or why am I bothering? That's the question you will start to ask yourself when you feel like you're getting to that breaking point. Or you'll also have your spouse or other family members or friends asking you, why are you doing this? What's the point? Why? So you have to make sure that you have a why. Now, it doesn't need to be a massive philosophical why. It could be simply because I want to experience what it's like to run 100K, or I want to experience what it's like to run London Marathon. You just need to have a why and then remind yourself of that. For me personally, my why is because I can, because I'm able-bodied, because I have the health and the vitality to be able to use my health and vitality to go and experience things. Because when you do something like a 100-kilometer race, it really sticks out in your brain as this incredible memory. Yes, it was hard, hot and uncomfortable, but still I look back on it with fond memories, and it was a great day for me because of the experience. It's not something you do every day. And of course, your why will be specific to you, but make sure you understand what it is, so when things get tough and you want to give up, you can just remind yourself of that and you're less likely to throw the towel in. And the final lesson, which is the one that most people struggle with, which is recovery is your superpower, quite literally, because you have to remember that your training is a stressor. You're creating a stimulus by breaking the body down. But when you recover, that is when you adapt, that's when you get stronger, that's when you come back better. When you sleep, you hydrate, you eat, etc. That's when you come back stronger, because you actually get stronger in that phase, not when you're training. Training get weaker, recovery is where you get stronger and fitter. So therefore, we need to make sure that we recover just as hard as we are training. Our body can only cope with so much stress, so we need to balance out the yin with the yang. So that means we need to make sure we're focused on good nutrition, plenty of hydration, good sleep, and managing our overall stress and lifestyle. So on race day, you are the strongest, most athletic, healthiest person you can be. That is it from me, guys. Now, if you found this valuable, please give it a thumbs up. And if you've got any questions or I missed anything, just put it in the comments below. And if you want to learn about how I can help you reach your full potential, my email is in the description below.